So we will work on this year, especially Jeffrey, when you brought something like that to the call, then we're going to find those systems. We're going to find where the holes are by tracking it over, between one call to the next, and then plug in those holes with systems. Same with everybody, right? And not everybody's going to go through that same thing. So, and how do you plug those holes? So this is the next thing I want to share. Am I still sharing my screen? You guys seeing it? Okay. Okay, cool. So this is Sarita. She is in the Portland area. She's the one that came to our Keller Williams office yesterday and was speaking about her business. And I want you to look at her trajectory, because she started in 2004 and she did like 21 transactions her first year. And this is the part I want to say, everybody listening right now, you're not lazy. Okay. You're going to work and you're working every single day. We just got to pay attention to what we're working on and make sure we're doing the activities that are bringing new money and new applications and new opportunities to the bottom line. So we have to be really on purpose in 2023. So just like she did 21 transactions. I mean, the average agent, when they have their first year in sales, maybe does 4, right? And 80% of them will fail out over 5 years. But she went from 21 transactions to 7 million to 16 million her second and third year. She went to 20 million and 50 transactions her fourth, fifth, and sixth year. So she was kind of getting her business to that 50 transactions. 2010, so we're in the middle of the crash market, and she feels that by dropping down to 36. In 2011, she got it back up to 49. But look at this next one here. From 2011 to 2012, she doubled her business from 49 to 87. Let me tell you who Sarita is. She took this course that I'm just going to kind of run through the outline, that we're going to do an organized group call where we are going to have an on-purpose structure we're going to follow to get that brand plan in place, find the people to plug in, to where you guys are getting to 5 people a day every single day. And that will be the one constant that every single person listening to this call is going to start plugging into the system, because she took the class in 2012 and she focused on her database, and she focused on 5 a day, and she focused on 5 notes a day, that stuff that I talk about all the time. And as soon as she showed this screen, I'm just like, she took the class in 2012. That's when I taught it at Keller Williams, and she's a Keller Williams agent, right? And then it went to 144, and then it went to 158. And now she's looking at, 40 to 50 million a year. She's doing 140 transactions, and she's a solo agent with just a couple people on her team now. She's just now been growing her team. I think the most she has right now is 3 people on her team. So she built this business off of just that database. And here's the thing she said, I make the calls every single day, every single day, every single day. So here's what that looks like. And then I'll pause out again if you guys have any questions. So I created a 16-week course for KW, and I've been reviving that to bring back. And my vision was, I got to get this to you guys to where we have it's a 16-hour that we'll do every single month and let you get through the process of putting it in place. So you can have a full-blown system in place that's just churning business and making your phone ring. So in that course, I just went through it. I was checking the content going, oh my gosh, I need to bring this thing back. Everybody needs this more now than ever before. But we have to work on the mindset. We talk about that all the time. And it's like focusing on 5 a day, every day. How are you going to get the 5? What are you going to do to make sure you do that first before you get sucked into the tornado of the day? We talk about the campaigns or those action plans that are inside the database that you'll be able to turn on. The reconnect plan, you guys have already gotten a taste of that on one of the spreadsheets, where it's a way to go through every past client you've ever had, go through your cell phone, go through your Facebook friends list, and you can reconnect with everybody so that you have a reason to write them a note, to not call them out of the left field and talk about business, but to actually reconnect with them first, so that you can change their mindset, that when they see your name and number, they know you're not just asking for a lead, but they're going to answer the phone. Every real estate agent's going to see your number and go, oh, they actually ask questions about my business. They help me with my business. They throw me marketing ideas. They come from contribution that we talked about in EOS. So it's a reconnect plan. And then how you actually set up a tracking system. so that this is open and available for you to see every day, me to see every day. If you have accountability partners, they're looking at it every day to say, how many people did you add in your database? Because once somebody's going through this course, and by the time they've gotten to this point, if they're not getting more appointments, all we have to do is look and go, well, you're not adding 5 a day consistently. You haven't done it for the last 5 days. Well, I know, but I had some stuff blow up and I had to take care of it. No, the tracking system will show you didn't do it for 5 days. So now you're going to be on this roller coaster ride in your business. And again, I'll get you guys more information on this, but I just want to highlight some of these things like mastering the follow-up. That's where we go over those timelines and specific timelines on how you follow up with people, stay in touch with them. Then we create the brand plan, which you guys are familiar with that too. The reconnect plan is a step before, so you can get through your list and just connect with people and not think about business. But the brand plan is anybody new that you would meet. If you're focused on it and you're doing it every day, you're going to plug them in and start branding yourself. How to find their contact information through all the social media sites. Again, many of us have talked about these things even on our one-on-one calls. But then you have specialized brand plans. So I forget who, several of you, we've had a call where, I know one of them is he was doing a continuing education class. So when we looked at that timeline of what are you going to do to get the most agents to your CE class, he got one of his lunch and learns approved as a CE. How many people have a CE class approved that do that? Or how many of you do lunch and learns? Or how many would like to do lunch and learns, right? So when we do that, we create those touches before to get more people there. And then what's the follow-up after? And so by putting this stuff together, he's gotten it from where I think there's like been 20 people at his last couple of CE classes, and he's got appointments with 18 of them. And only 2 of them said they didn't even want to meet with him. So it's just being on purpose to get those appointments. And so the specialized brand plan for that is, instead of what you see on the normal brand plan where you call somebody and you write a note, you wait 7 days and then you send an email, right? I said, don't change those things. They're so simple and they're not obtrusive. They're actually helpful, because if a real estate agent gets a buyer on the hook and you sent them an email this week that said, oh, hey, by the way, if you need a quick approval, here's the link to my online application. Why wouldn't you want me to have that? And what you're doing is you're programming me as a real estate agent that now I have a pre-approval application in front of me. They don't have one otherwise. What they're doing when a lead comes in now is they're like, yeah, give this guy a call. Here's his number. They might text it to him, but then nobody checks in to see if they actually called the guy in the first place, or gal, right? They didn't call the LO. They didn't do anything. So we have a system in there that says, call the LO and see if they called them. 99.9% of the time when we do that on our part of our system, the LO, guess what the LO tells us? I haven't heard from them. They're not in my system. I'm not sure what's up. So that's trigger in our system makes us call the buyer back and go, hey, are you serious about getting a house? Yeah, okay, well, you didn't call my guy yet. Call him now. And I'm having him call you, right? And then we tell them to call them. So having that system, but in that CE class, what he wasn't thinking about is you could do the same brand plan, and those touches are the things you talked about in the class. So you have somebody come to the class, you connect with them during class, you write them a handwritten note. The next step may be, hey, here's an overview of the class that we just went through so you can get that information again. 7 days later, you send a link, in the email or whatever, that is a link to the recorded class. Record yourself doing the class so they can watch it again. The next one, you're mailing them the handout that was the handout for the class, just in case they didn't have it, with notes filled in, right? Your notes filled in on it. The next one might be a text message to download one of the apps you talked about in the class. And then there's a phone call on week 4. So it's specializing those plans for whoever they are, right? Whether they're a past client, whether they're, we talk about all that in the class here. And then it comes back into tracking for a little while to make sure that you're actually doing all these things and adding people every single day. So just to let you know that this is a 16-hour and once a month, but then what you got to be okay with is it's going to take you 8 months to get through the program, right? What are you getting out of the call? What's something you've taken away from the call?
I'll chime in. Something that kind of clicked for me. I mean, it kind of makes sense. You do the activities. Hey, reach out to an agent. here's my, greeting card or excuse me, thank you card or application, stuff like that. When you said it programs them, it makes sense because like without doing that regularly, they're probably going to be a little more sporadic, or they're like, oh, this person called them this week, so they're just going to send it to this person. But if I consistently do it, it just kind of clicked for me. Like you're programming them to set a routine of what to do, which is to refer back to us. I don't know, it just kind of makes sense when you think of it that way, that you're programming and to do that. So when you said that, it kind of clicked for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Even in the real estate industry, I program the other agent what I want them to tell their client about my offer. So that programming works all the way through on just everything that you're doing. So I love that you got that out of that. All right. So here's the next thing that I want to talk about. And I don't want you to look at this as blindsiding. I don't want you to look at this like anything. I don't even want you to get nervous about it. There is changes coming in the coaching department, and they're changing the way coaching is being done. Most people in the industry are paying probably $1,000, $2,000 a month for coaching. There's programs that you can get in for $50, $200, all this other stuff. So I want to show you some of the programs that are coming out. Although it's kicking off in April when they're going to start switching things, the big thing is you getting invested in your coaching. And so there is going to be some shared costs, not only from the company just doing it all, to some shared costs coming from you. So I don't want this to be a blindside. I'm just making you aware of it. And it's not going to change anything for right now. And we're going to figure out a way that if you're getting enough value out of coaching, this shouldn't be an expense or a cost to you. I mean, we're going to make sure that it's paid for itself, but I want to get into these last couple of points and make sure that you guys know not only what is coming, but how we're going to make sure that you get a return on your coaching, so that when you have a coaching call and you do stuff, new things happen to get you more organized. So like in Jeffrey's case, for example, it's like we will figure out what that system looks like to streamline the 5 or 6 biggest distractions he has showing up on his plate, and putting that system in place so that he can now rehire people and start building the team again. It's going to be very trackable stuff, but what they're going to do is a lot of the basic stuff that was around before. If you're concerned about it or want to know why, let's have individual calls, because I really don't like taking up coaching calls to talk about this stuff, but I need you to be aware of what it is so you can just see it coming. It's because it hasn't got set in stone, but we've got a go date of April 1st, but nothing's going to happen till the middle of April. So nothing's going to change for you guys. I'm still here for you. In fact, I want to get as much coaching in as we can until this changes and we figure out what direction you may go. But just the basic stuff, a monthly coaching group call, Coach Simple Access. This is the stuff that is everything that we've been using, the base stuff. The branded pop by, having the opportunity to use the playbooks, send out the branded gifts. You got the weekly gathering call that's open to everybody, but there will be some extra stuff coming for the basic people in coaching. That's going to be, for your portion, is $74.50 a month. And that's going to give you the basic stuff, no one-on-one coaching. Then we have 3 different types of coaching. There's group coaching, and that's going to be $395, but you're going to pay, the company's going to pay $197, you're going to pay $197. And what that is, it's a group call where we will go through that training program that I just showed you. And when that training program's over, you'll have access to all the recordings to go through and make sure you're applying that and putting it in place. But then we're going to have another training program and another training program, because I've got hundreds of training programs on setting up the perfect system, building a team. This first one is going to be on that database, because we got to get you plugging 5 in a day, doing the 8x8, doing all that stuff so that you can build up the business to pay for it. These 2 are kind of minimal. I mean, if you did 1 extra loan in 6 months from the program, you're going to pay for your coaching. And everything that we do should pay for the coaching. But then the next 2 levels, I'm going to tell you what's a little different that I'm doing differently on those. So the group coaching will be there for that minimum, just to keep you in coaching, but it'll be very directed. It's not going to be one-on-one. The next level is $595, which your cost is $297. The company's still subsidizing half of it, but that we're going to be in more of a small group setting with 1 30-minute call a month, like we've been doing. This is kind of what you're seeing right now, right? We do our group call and then we do our one-on-one call. And then if you really take it to the next level, the $795, which is going to be $397 a month, that one is one-on-one coaching with 2 30-minute calls. And the group calls are going to be for everybody. So that program that I just showed you on the database, the group coaching, even though the pod coaching and this one-on-one coaching say it includes this, everything includes this, where you have access to all that stuff, Coach Simple and everything, but everybody from the group call up will still have access to the group call. And then the one extra bonus that I'm adding on the one-on-one coaching is that I will do a call once a month for your real estate agents, so that I can match up the message with your real estate agents to what you're hopefully bringing back to them. So this isn't a sales pitch. I just needed to share with you it's here, but here's what I don't want you to do is to go back to yourself and try and figure it all out yourself. Okay, I don't want you to do that, because that's not going to help you get any farther along. And if you really think about it, I kind of ran some numbers on the $395, which you're only paying half of that. If you got one loan for $39.50, you just paid for your coaching. At $595, which you're only paying half of that, if you got 2 loans for $6,000, you're going to pay for coaching. But I'm not here to have you pay for anything. I want you to get a 10x return, right? So $397 doesn't look like much, but you should be making $3,970 if you're doing the program. So along with a paid program, I know that this type of coaching changes a little bit, that there's going to be a little bit more accountability, and you're going to have to feel more value coming out of the coaching calls, because I don't want you to quit your value. We know you're investing, and anytime they run that credit card, where you'll know if you got value or not is when you look at that and go, I wonder if I should cancel that. It's almost like, I don't know if I can afford the $397. Well, you can't not afford to do the $397. I got into coaching before it was ever comfortable. Guys, I'm telling you, on that $795 one, where it's like $345, and then I'll stop on this stuff, is really, I mean, if you're getting three extra loans, you will have paid for the coaching 10x. You only need one loan a month to pay for, more than pay for it. You're getting probably a 3x. But I am a 5x to 10x guy. So if we're only getting a one-time return, or you're just getting one extra loan, then we're not doing the program. So we're going to make sure we're focused on that. All right. Any specific questions, make sure you guys call my cell phone directly. Any concerns you have about it, call me directly. I'd rather not take up the group time doing that. This is just what's coming down from the pipe, and I'm in the same company as you are, and I got the information as well. But our calls are going to continue this month, and I'm scheduling all of April calls. So if you get your one-on-ones in now, and we can figure out what program is going to be best for you. You guys know who Ed Milet is? He's like one of the podcast guys, like one of the top podcast guys. But I just want you to hear this. Let me just hit this first one on Ed.
Most people think they're disqualified from becoming mega successful. They think their past disqualifies them, their sins, their mistakes. What I'm saying to you, what if the truth was that your greatest mistakes are the very things that do qualify you to change people's lives?
What happens in a change is, in a shift like this, is the thing that happens is your math changes. And when your math changes, what you do, we call it your model, what you do then also has to shift to match your new math. And the people that succeed and come out of shifts, and you're going to talk about this in a second, that come out of shifts and really take ground, right? Great career, not just a great year. Remember that, okay? Are those individuals who figure out the new math and then match their actions to the math. That's all you have to do.
Sounds simple, huh?
When you win market share in a shift, you rarely give it back.
Yeah.
If you lose market share in a shift, you rarely get it back.
So how you behave in a shift will determine the rest of your life. Whether you like or not, whether you just got in this industry or you've been in it for 30 years, you just got thrown a curve. The market is not going to be as good as it was. It overheated, prices got too high, inflation went completely off the rails, and we got a challenge. And we're going to have to work our way through this. Your goal is to be alive and be thriving on the other side, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, I want you to understand something. Not everybody can do that. There aren't enough sales for everyone to thrive. Do you understand that? You have 1.6 million realtors. Wake freaking up. Wake up. Wake up. You are literally going to have to be different if you're going to have a different outcome than the average, right? You're exactly right. Had I walked in and said, good morning, we're only going to take a minute. We don't want to waste your time because we know you got a lot of real estate transactions to do. We just want to point out you're fixing to have the third greatest year in volume sold in American history. Right? And you would all go, heck yeah, man, let's crush this. And then you look at all the other slides and you go, ooh, it's really bad. It's really bad. Yeah, I mean, it is. Make no mistake about it. I mean, I believe that no matter, in spite of that volume, I truly believe that 2023 will be a really tough year. It will be very, very hard. It will be hard. And if you don't work hard to match the hard, your year's going to suck. And what I notice is that there are people that don't do anything different than they were doing during the good times. You can't do that. When times get hard, you have to ramp it up. You have no choice.
I hope that was powerful for you. And I want you to hear that it's not just us talking about it. It's not just the people you guys are around. I mean, that's Gary Keller in front of the KW organization. What's the first thing you got? What are you kind of taking away from this? Yeah,
clearly a shift, right? And it's impacting everyone. And, you know, from all of us to all of our business partners and referral sources, and everyone's going to have to change things up. And so it happens to be the greatest opportunity to share our influence and collaborate and do things that they've never done and do things we've never done. And so, you know, just, I think being a vessel of hope that we can change things together, that we can, do things that we haven't been comfortable with, in previous years or didn't need to do. It's at least inspiring that we can be good partners and stewards of the business. So I've had a lot of good traction with agents because they are all up for doing new things, new social media, new ideas, right? Webinars, podcasts together. So, I think the activities and the collaboration will lead to better relationships, which may not, I'm struggling with because it's not paying the bills these days, but I know in the future it will. So we've got to put our head down and just work through this, next few months and see where that puts us.
Who else? Did you want to say something, Jason?
Yeah, I was going to say, obviously they're, talking about this is going to be the third hottest, volume market year in history. So that means there's business to be had. I think there's just the transactions, the volume of the house and all that stuff. It's obviously going to make a difference. There's so many people out there. You got to get a piece of that pie. So you got to do something different. You got to stand out. You can't just keep doing the same thing because you're not going to grow. You're not going to get better without doing that.
This was a power pack call and we just went through a lot of stuff. I don't want you to worry about the coaching side of it. We'll take care of that. I will make sure that as your coach, you're getting that money back tenfold, right? Or then you can cancel it. So whatever's coming down the pipe, we're going to be ready that y'all just commit to it in 1 month. If you can't experience it, like in April, you're going to get to experience what the new format looks like and what we're kind of doing different. You're all going to be able to get on that group call. We're still going to have our one-on-one calls. And once you make that commitment, you're not going to be tied to anything. It's not a contract. It's a month-to-month thing. So if we can't deliver and get you that money back, I mean, you're talking maybe a month or a 2-month investment for you to figure that out. But I'm going to make sure you figure that out. Cool. All right. So jot down any questions you have, whatever you need to bring to your calls. If you do not have a one-on-one call scheduled with me, calls are second and third week of the month. So if we don't have a call scheduled in the next week or two, get on my schedule, bug me, track me down. I'm going to track you down too, but just get on my list right away so you can get a better time slot than just what's available. Let's get those one-on-one calls ramped up. You do not have to go through this alone. And you don't want to go through 2023 trying to figure it out on your own, because there's no more happening with self-driven motivation, right? So I'm here for you guys. I want to see you all succeed. Oh, that's what I want to leave with. So with this weekly group call and the gatherings and President's Club, so the coaches are going to President's Club. If you're going to President's Club and you're going to Cancun, text me directly so we can make sure I know you're there and connect. But guys, here's the other thing that I just want to throw out, and this isn't for everybody. That's why I'm saving it for the end. If you're somebody that would like to be in front of, if you'd like to share stuff and be on the weekly gathering call and be interviewed, if you would like to be on stage, one of the other things in the coaching realm is called player coaches, where it's going to be one of the top LOs. They're going to take on 1 or 2 or 3 clients. Now it's $1,000 a month, but they're going to have a small pocket of people that they're just going to help, coach through it. They're called player coaches. So if you want to be a player coach and even have some income coming in from helping people with their business, that's one of the things I help with. A couple of my clients are player coaches that I'm helping them with that coaching business to provide value, because it's $1,000 a month. But those player coaches, if you want to be a player's coach or you want to be interviewed, it'll get you more exposure that you can use with the realtors in your marketplace. I'm good at that. When you do the stuff, if you say to me, I want to be on stage, I want to be interviewed, I want to be a player's coach, then we're going to have a whole different accountability structure to get you plugging stuff in, get the results so that you've got the proven record to have that opportunity show up. And I've done that with several people that I've coached just outside of even movement before. If anybody's heard of Jeremy Forcier out of California, he was one of my very first mortgage clients back in the old loan toolbox days. And he's the one that he just did it. He actually did the stuff that we were talking about, put it into place. And he would call me and go, you won't believe it, Coach Korn. The realtor gave me their entire database. What do I do now? And it's like, start dripping on them, and it's like, oh my God. And he goes, another realtor just gave me their entire database, because he had the conversations the way he was supposed to, and he got it. Then he's on stage sharing this stuff. It's just, so I'm here to take you guys wherever that might be in between. So how many of you jazzed now? A little bit more jazzed about 2023. Yeah, baby. So we're going through it. I'm going through it with you. So we're not going to let 2023 beat us. Have a great week.